please turn off or silence all cell phones or electronic devices. This is a hearing of Committee of Adjustment for the City of Thorold for January 19th, 2023. Everyone present will be given an opportunity to speak for or against the applications being heard. When given a chance to speak, you will have only 5 minutes, so please make sure to be as clear and consistent as possible. For your information, Committee of Adjustment is a public process. Personal information such as the applicant's name and property address, which is reported at a Committee of Adjustment meeting, is public information. Minutes of this Committee of Adjustment meeting will be received by Thorold City Council at a public council meeting and become part of the public record. Please address all your comments and questions through the chair. A copy of the decision will be sent to the applicant or agent or to any person who files a written request. Please write your name, address, and the file you are here for in the text box. Agencies commenting on applications may request that certain conditions be imposed. Voicing objections to these conditions will not adversely affect the committee's decision. Committee of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial body operating under the Planning Act, the Municipal Act, and the Statutory Powers Procedure Act, as well as various provincial regulations. Sections 45 and 50 of the Planning Act outline the circumstances surrounding the approval of minor variances and controlling the conveyance of land in Ontario and the prevention of subdivision of land except with governmental approval. Any person, corporation, or public body has the right to appeal either the consent decision or the conditions to the local planning appeal tribunal within 20 days of the decision notice. Does any member of this panel have a pecuniary interest in any of the applications to be considered at this hearing?
No.
No, not me, John.
Nor do I. May I have a motion from the committee that the agenda be adopted as presented? Moved by Mr. Ratnick, seconded by Mr. Pizzo. All in favor? Thank you. Was notice given as required by the Planning Act, Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir, it was.
Thank you. Are there any requests for withdrawal or adjournment at this time, Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir.
Which ones, please?
Minor variance D 1339 2022 for 1202 Hansler Road has been withdrawn and planning fees are to be refunded as the proposal conforms to the in effect zoning bylaw 214097. Minor variances D 1342 2022 for lot 113 Pall Mall Avenue and D 1343 2022 for lot 142 Palace Street have been withdrawn and the planning fees are to be refunded as the proposals conform to the in effect zoning bylaw 214097. And staff have recommended the deferral of minor variance D 1301 2023 application for 65 Bridge Street East, as this item will require further review to determine how best to process the requested variance.
Okay, I think committee, if the committee is okay with this, I think we'll deal with the deferral of Bridge Street during the meeting, if that's okay. Now the minutes probably I would suggest didn't come in time for the committee members to fully understand and deal with them. Shall we put those minutes from November 17th and December 15th off to the next meeting? Is that the wish of the committee?
That's fine with me, John.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we defer those.
Thank you, Mr. D'Angelo. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, second that.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Thank you. Opposed? All right. So we can deal with 13 Sullivan and 39 Pine Street, D1022, 2022, D1340, 2022, and D1341, 2022. Madam Secretary, at your leisure, please.
Tara, this is the reading of the report, or was Megan going to do that?
Through the chair, I can do a summary for this application.
Thank you, Megan.
A consent and 2 minor variance applications have been submitted by Morgan Young, a lawyer for the applicant, for the property municipally known as 13 Sullivan Ave and 39 Pine Street in the city of Thorold in region of Niagara. The lots were created through their roll numbers in July of 1979 and has not been planned by the city to be merged together. However, these properties came into single ownership and have merged into title, which have created one property. The owner is hoping to revert the merger by severing the lots into the previous dimensions and to sell one of the newly severed lots, which will ensure that the properties do not merge in title again. The consent and minor variance applications will allow these lots to continue to operate how they have historically operated for residential use without any physical change to the property. It is the recommendation of planning staff that the consent application be approved with several conditions that will ensure that the properties are able to be severed and remain severed. And then it is the planning staff's recommendation that the 2 minor variance applications to support the severance be approved as well.
Thank you, Megan. Who speaks on behalf of these applications, please? If you got to identify yourself.
Yes, hi. My name is Morgan Young. My name is showing as Angela Nesbitt, but I
Yeah,
do
we
not.
thought that maybe that wasn't right.
Yeah, it was. I was sent the Zoom link a little late from her, luckily, but I think it just kind of just pre-made that I was going to be under my name as Angela Nesbitt. But yes, I'm speaking to this application.
Go ahead, Mr. Young.
Pretty much from, like I said, like the Megan just summarized, it's pretty much just kind of confirming what was already existing. The client, our client never actually intended for the properties to merge. They just kind of didn't really, to be honest, they never really had a clue when they were doing it. So what happened was originally he owned the property at, I believe, 39 Pine, and then him and his wife moved into that property and then purchased the adjacent property at Sullivan so that they could care for the mother. But then unfortunately she passed away, and as well as his wife. So unfortunately at that time during those applications, the properties merged into one. So nothing has actually physically changed with the property. It's just essentially just confirming what essentially was already there so that he could sell, I believe he's selling 13 Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Questions or comments from the committee members? Mr. Raven.
Through you, Mr. Chair. This is the second time in my tenure that we've had situation. I'm just wondering what the mechanism that budding property by same owner that they merge into one.
You're breaking up pretty badly, Mr. Ravenek. To the planner, did you get that question, or would you like it repeated?
I'll forget it.
So I know it is said that we can forget it, but I believe the question was, what is the mechanism to prevent this?
Yes.
Does that sound right? So usually this would be prevented by when someone buys a property, their lawyer, if they have a lawyer involved, they would be able to inform them that by having the same names on title, they would merge together. As Morgan Young had pointed out, initially when these 2 properties were together, they were in different owners' names. So the current owner's name was on both, and one property had another individual, but when that other individual was removed, somehow it was not articulated that they would be merged together, but that is usually prevented through the real estate process of the property. And it is for them to do their due diligence to ensure that they're not merged together.
Mr. Ravenek, did that answer your question?
Close enough.
Oh, okay, because you can certainly ask it again. No problem.
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pizzo, did you have a question?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move a motion to approve this because it's kind of a fluke. And I'd like to make a motion that the D-10-22-2022 be approved subject to the following condition. And that lawyer that's talking, he looked familiar. He wouldn't happen to be related to a couple other lawyers, would he?
I'm related to a Mr. Christopher Young, so I don't know. He might be well known in Thorold.
Well, there was another guy named Norm. Did you know Norm?
Yeah, that was my grandfather.
Okay, let's move on. Mr. D'Angelo.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, do we want to add the other two motions? They all work together. There's D13-42,022 and D13-41-2022. If the mover is agreeable to do them all at once, I'll second them all.
Well, that was my intentions, Mr. Chairman. Sorry.
That's fine if that's the committee's wishes. Sometimes we do them separately just to make it clean, but I think we can do this one all together, if that's the wish of the committee. Any further questions or comments?
Yes, I have a question, John. It's kind
Mr.
of
Jackson.
just kind of a general question. I don't know if this would be to you or to Mr. Young. I can understand why the two properties would have to maintain their previous address, even though it's one lot. But it seems funny that they wouldn't change the zoning back to one zoning. I just, kind of a general question, just would put that out there.
Ms. Burbeck, would you like to handle that, please?
So through the chair, I believe the zoning never changed for these. So it's a residential lot. It was just that the lot lines merged together, creating one whole lot. So now we're putting a line down the middle to separate the lot.
Is that okay, Mr. Jackson?
Yep, that's fine. Thanks, John.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the three applications being approved? Opposed? All carried. There you go, Mr. Young.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Good luck to you.
You as well. Thank you.
We'll move on now to 65 Bridge Street, that the staff are recommending a deferral. Ms. Burbeck, would you like to address that? I'm assuming this is coming from you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
The other Angela Nesbitt is likely the agent for this applicant, for this application.
Okay.
With Mr. Young not having the Zoom link.
Okay.
I just provided it to Mr. Hellwig as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Ms. Burbeck.
So through the chair, this application was for an exterior side yard reduction and added on a condition for a secondary dwelling unit. It is the recommendation of staff at this time to defer this application to look through the mechanisms that we have to assess whether this can be moved forward as a minor variance or what the appropriate Planning Act application this application should be moving forward as.
Okay.
At this point in time, we don't have enough information to move forward with a recommendation.
Thank you. Committee members, we're being asked for a motion to defer, which is non-debatable. George Ravenek, was that a motion to defer, sir?
Yes, sir.
Seconded by Mr. D'Angelo. No further discussion on a deferral motion. All in favor? That is deferred. We move on now. We should probably do some introductions. I see some new faces that are joining us. Morgan, would you like to say hello to everyone? Introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name's Morgan Cassiani. I have joined the City of Thorold in the role of Chief Planner. So today I'm taking this opportunity, one, to meet everyone, two, just observe how the committee functions and get a feel for Committee of Adjustment. So going forward, you will probably see me in these meetings. So I look forward to that.
Thank you. And Tara O'Toole, would you like to say hello to everyone? You can't say no, Tara. You have to say hello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Tara O'Toole, and I am the new manager of planning here with the City of Thorold. It's week 2 for me, so I'm grateful that we had this meeting, like Morgan said, for us to get a chance to introduce ourselves, meet the members, familiarize ourselves with the Committee of Adjustment here in Thorold. And moving forward, you'll probably be seeing me more often as I may be involved in these meetings. So I look forward to working with everyone and enjoying my time here so far.
Thank you, and welcome to you both. Matthew Trenham, City Clerk, we've met before at the last one of these meetings, and welcome to you too, sir. This is the last meeting for this makeup, this committee's makeup. On a personal note, I'd like to say thank you for all your support. It's been a difficult stretch for all of us and for me personally. So thank you, everyone, for your support and your friendship. Those that will not be with us next month, we're going to miss you. This has been a good committee. It's worked well together, and I'm assuming Matthew will be sending out who's in, who's out. So who's out? I'm sorry to see you go. Who's in? We'll see you next month. I believe it's February 16th. Is that the correct date?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Where are you, Ed? Oh, there you are. There's your lamp there.
Here's my question. You keep saying we'll see you next meeting. Do you know if you've been appointed?
No, I don't. Matthew's going to send those out. Matthew, would you like to say who's on the committee at this time? I believe it's public.
I can do that, Mr. Chair, yes. So I can advise that at the end of the council meeting on Tuesday in open session, it was moved that the terms of reference, well, first of all, the terms of reference for the committee was formally approved. So that'll be circulated and be on the agenda for the next meeting just for information for everybody. Of course, it was amended to include the counselor position, and I can advise that Councillor D'Angela has been appointed to the committee as the council rep. That's available under the Planning Act as an option for committees of adjustment, and essentially that role must be reappointed on an annual basis. So annually, that position will be reappointed. It'll go to council to determine whether or not to continue and whether or not to appoint Councillor D'Angela again, a different councillor, or to remove the position. Additionally, the following applicants were appointed to the committee: Mr. Ed Pizzo, Mr. Glenn Jackson, Mr. John Thiessen, Mr. Kieran Daniels, Peter Diapola, and Theodore or Ted Luciani.
So 7 members.
So there'll be 7 members altogether, including the council rep.
And the council rep is a full member of this committee, I'm assuming.
That is correct.
Okay.
So formal letters advising the individual applicants of sort of next steps and so forth will be going out, if not the end of this week, very early next week, just advising everyone officially of the appointment, when the next meeting will be, and then we'll be working the clerk's office with the planning department to provide any administrative support necessary to assist in setting up the new committee.
Okay, thank you. My last name is Tyson, by the way.
Apologies.
Nope, none needed. I get much worse. Mr. Ravenek, I think I heard your name not on that list. I'm going to be sorry to see you go, Mr. Vice Chair. You've been a loyal supporter.
Thank you.
Wish you well in the future.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank George. He's been a wonderful guy. He's been a great companion to be on this committee for 8 years. Thanks, George.
I'm going to say 12 years. It seems like longer, but I think it's 12.
It is 12.
Well done, George. Good luck to you.
All right. Thanks.
And I would like to echo those remarks too, John. That's sorry to see you go, George, and but it's nice to have formed a friendship with you, and I hope that you and I can continue that on outside the committee. So,
well said, Glenn.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Mr. D'Angela, did you have something?
I was going to thank George for his service on the Committee of Adjustments. He's not disappearing because I think his name's on about 3 or 4 other committees in the city, so he's tackling new challenges. So
good for him.
He's not disappearing. He's just working harder in a different capacity.
He does like to stay busy, so let's stop talking about him like he's gone, shall we?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Pizzo?
I'd like to ask Matt a question. Matt, is this going to continue on Zoom because it's terrible?
That's an excellent question, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to advise it was brought up at the council meeting, the desire to move to meeting in person. There's still some administrative work that needs to happen to ensure that that happens. We've set a precedent with having these meetings being filmed and being able to have them available and recorded online. So there will always be some form of dual role with the committee allowing for that. However, in order to meet in person and have those filmed, we'll likely need to use the council chamber. So assuming that we can do so and again, set those administrative pieces in play, then the committee will be free to meet in person in February.
Thank
Again,
you.
we'll circulate that to the committee once we have some more information the next week or so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Mr. D'Angelo?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, that the council chamber is going to be opened up. The intent is to have it opened up February 1st. And I know the committee room in the back was too small for this committee to meet there, especially with a larger number now and social distancing. But it's great to hear that. I know I brought it up at Tuesday's meeting and that the staff is working to accommodate it, because I know we've had a lot of frustrations with connection problems and other issues with these Zoom meetings. So getting back to person is going to be very, very helpful. So I just wanted to commend staff for working towards that goal. The other thing I just wanted to point out, a secondary one, is just on our website, if we could update the Committee of Adjustments calendar. It has the 2022 dates and meeting times. We should throw up 2023 there so the public or anyone applying has an indication of when we're meeting and what the deadlines are to get their applications in.
Mr. Trenum?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'll confirm this with Angie, perhaps. I'm not sure if the schedule is approved by the committee at their first meeting like other committees, or if it's just automatically set based on the terms of reference. And if it's the latter, then we'll just get it posted. If it's the former, and she's nodding, so yes, if that's the case, we'll clean up that page a little bit and have the new dates posted.
It's always been the third Thursday.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? See most of you next month. Mr. Pizzo, do you want to make your usual motion?
I'll make that motion and I thank everybody. And
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Well done, everyone. See you soon or next month.